How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another Deadline stream. Double Game Week 24 is on the cards for us today, and I'm going to be making some moves on screen today, I think. Been deliberating over it over the past couple of days, and I think I know what I'm going to do. So we have a bit of a kind of a free stab at it, mainly because we're probably going to be wildcarding in 25. So we can afford to be a little bit adventurous, especially with the double game weeks. We want to attack it, obviously, and I'm not opposed to taking a little points hit. So we'll definitely be looking for that. But yeah, hopefully you all have joined us. How's it going, Harry? How's it going, Mo? Hope that you are ready for this double game week. Mario 1022, thank you for following as well. That was offline a couple of days ago. But yeah, we're going to be taking a look at all the usual stuff. Season ticker, XGI and attacking output, the whipping boys table as it's called, or basically the worst defenses in the league, and the goals a minute table. And we're going to be checking out my transfer plans. So also I should bring up on screen off to the side while I'm here the thing that I discussed in the video yesterday. Let me see if I can bring it up on the side here while I'm on the big screen. Was that it? So basically it was a table that Ben Krellin has created kindly for us. And I'm going to bring up basically the two major scenarios. So we can take a look at those as well, because it's basically kind of a planning for double game weeks and that sort of stuff. So now that I have those up on this side, I can move that out of the way, and we can move over to the main screen. So this is the team as it currently stands. So we have Pope in goal, who's currently with the armband. Maybe I keep it on him. We'll see. Ben-Mee, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, Souček, Salah, Fernandez, Antonio Bamford, and Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin is almost certainly going to move to the bench because he's not going to play in the Fulham fixture. So he's basically just got one home fixture versus Man City, which isn't great. And yeah, it's a bit unfortunate on that front. But we could be looking to maneuver some players in and out with, I have one free transfer, but I could take a -4 because it is a double game week, so it is effectively only a -2, so it's a bit advantageous for us. Madison, Barnes, Mane, Kufal, Watkins, DCL, only playing City, bench 2. Well, DCL is definitely one of them. Probably Harvey Barnes is probably the other one. I feel like if there's someone that's going to be involved versus Liverpool, it's going to be Madison maybe. But it's tough. Yeah, I would definitely bench DCL and then either Madison or Barnes, one of the two. Kind of hedge your bets a little bit. Obviously, you can get burnt and one of them can score and the other one might not. But yeah, I would definitely play Watkins. He plays Brighton. I would definitely play Soufal. I would definitely play Mane if those are the players that you're looking at. But let's go and take a look at the fixtures here. Just kind of get a little bit of an update. So, if you guys haven't checked it out, this little thing here, they recently added this not too long ago, but it is quite neat. It's they put like little like bulletins, as it were, for like the different teams, which is kind of cool. So it says like Diaz, Rodri, and Aguero could all feature, or Aurier out for the Man City trip, and it shows it game by game. And it's like Roger confirms Justin's ACL injury. So yeah, all of this is quite good. So I'd say check a look at those articles. Obviously, you can also look at the Fantasy Football Scout team news video, which is always out usually the day before, at least a few hours before the deadline, which is quite informative. I'm playing a back five. Yeah, there's probably gonna be a lot of people playing at least a back four this week. So yeah, if I had to bench one, who would I bench out of Antonio, Bamford, and Rafinha? Well, I would say Antonio's the best out of all of those, but he might not play. But if Antonio's not going to play, I think he's just going to not play at all. He's either going to start and play 70 minutes plus and then come off, or he's just going to not be in the squad altogether. So I think you can get away with playing Antonio and Bamford and bench Rafinha, but put Rafinha first sub if that's the case, because he will probably come in if Antonio doesn't. Antonio's either going to start and play 60, 70 minutes, assuming he doesn't get injured, or he's just not going to be in the squad at all. That's how it's probably going to work for him. So looking at the fixtures this week, some of the highlights, obviously right off the bat, we got Leicester versus Liverpool. I don't expect much in this, to be honest. I don't know what I predicted, but if I hadn't predicted a 1-1, then I probably should have. Or maybe I predicted a 2-1 Leicester. I can't remember what my predictions were. Probably over on Twitter. But again, the early kickoff is always a scary one, and that's why I'm kind of... I also kind of made up my mind a little bit on the transfer that I'm potentially going to make as well. So I don't expect Salah to do anything there. Probably a very scrappy game, to be honest. Palace and Burnley. Hopefully that game puts me to sleep, and it's a 0-0. Man City versus Spurs. That should be a good game. Probably the highlight of today. Brighton versus Aston Villa. That could be an interesting one because Brighton have been doing well and Aston Villa are doing very well. So could be quite interesting. Should I go crazy with the armband on Ben Mee or play it safe with Sterling? I would say play it safe with Sterling. There's arguments for Nick Pope specifically because when they keep a clean sheet, Nick Pope doesn't get just 6 points. He usually gets 3 to 6 saves, and then he gets 3 bonus points. That's why Nick Pope is probably the only Burnley player that I would captain, because it's not like he's like, oh, he gets 6 points and that's it. He gets more than 6 points when they usually keep a clean sheet. Gundogan or Pope for captain, or Bruno? I say Gundogan. I think Gundogan and Sterling are probably the best captains shouts this week, in my opinion. Yes, is Bruno likely to potentially do just as much as Gundogan and Sterling in a single game? Possibly. He is versus West Brom after all. But double game week, it just doesn't feel right. Like, if I had to order them before DCL got injured, it was Gundogan and Sterling were kind of tied for me because the stats showed that they're both kind of on point, and kind of equal with each other. Then it was DCL, then it was Pope, then it was Bruno. Now that DCL's only got the one fixture, he obviously drops out completely. So it's the 2 City boys, then Pope, then Bruno. But if you really think, so you have to think about it this way. So when Pope gets a clean sheet, he typically makes 3 to 6 saves. So he's anywhere from he's going to be anywhere from 7 to 8 points by default. And then he's going to have an additional 2 to 3 bonus. So he's looking at 10 to 11 points every time he keeps a clean sheet, because he's usually the one in bonus. Because Burnley don't pass much out from the back. Burnley don't score very much. So he's most likely going to be the one in the bonus. So his floor, if he keeps one clean sheet, is, let's say, 10 points in one game and probably 3 points in the other game, which is 13 points. So from a midfielder, you're looking at, 2 points plus a clean sheet point in one of those games, plus a goal, plus an assist, plus some bonus points on top of that. Now, if Nick Pope keeps 2 clean sheets, then you're looking at probably goal, some bonus points, or goal assist, at least in both games from Sterling and Gundogan. Now that's not saying they couldn't do that, but yeah, it could be interesting. Could definitely be interesting. With Sterling, you have a situation where he plays in all the big games, and Gundogan is just playing all the games because he has to. So, I think that they can't really afford to rest players at the moment because nobody really plays Gundogan's role. Um, and Sterling has been in really good form and holds the width very well. I'm gonna hold on to DCL. Yeah, I mean DCL is somebody who you could probably hang on to. I mean, I wouldn't play him this week personally because he's not gonna play versus Fulham. I wouldn't play him next week because he plays versus Liverpool. Um, but in the double game week, if he's fit, then yeah, sure. I'm certainly gonna monitor the situation because I can always have him um, and just leave him on my bench for 25 and then bring him back in, or use that one transfer to bring him in, bring him back in if he's fit. Um, we'll take a look at what I was planning on wildcard wise. But if you haven't done so, make sure to check out my other video after this as well that I posted last night. But yeah, some interesting potential thoughts. I might triple captain DCL in 26 if they play Saints and the Baggies. Yep, I mean it's also a good option too. Hey Nuka, how's it going? Glad that you can join us as well. But I think a lot of people are potentially, because we'll actually take a look at it in just a second on what the alterations of the fixtures are. But moving into the fixtures on Sunday, Southampton Wolves. If you have places to go or to be at that point, probably not the best game, or probably not the worst game to miss, to be honest. West Brom versus United. You'll probably be excited to actually be able to watch Bruno, who will probably have less than 100% ownership, probably. Leeds versus Arsenal. Last time was a 0-0 firecracker, to be honest. And Everton Fulham could be interesting without DCL. Monday, West Ham versus Sheffield United. A lot of people using their bench boost potentially this week as well, because they have a lot of West Ham players. Could be good. I personally think that Sheffield United might score, but we'll see. Chelsea versus Newcastle. Again, Newcastle in form. Chelsea keeping clean sheets, so it could be interesting. And then the two double game week fixtures on the Wednesday. So overall, some fun stuff to look forward to. And I like how football kind of transitions into the week. It makes it kind of makes it free flowing almost, which is quite nice. 1-1 written all over that. Oh, the Southampton Wolves game probably could be 0-0, to be honest. Sad for Justin. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't. He in my season review at the very end of the season, he's going to be one of the top 3 players top 3 player. Yeah, well, Kane and Son were kind of like are going to be as like one in a sense, but Justin's going to be one of the 3 that I mentioned. That I didn't have, that kept burning me over and over and over again. And he was vying for a European place, which is, the place in the England squad. So it is going to be a big miss for him. It seems like he might miss all of 2021, potentially, which is a bit rough for someone that young. I think he's like early 20s or something. He could play left back, he could play right back, in a back 3. He was so versatile. But when he comes back next season, depending on what his price is, I'm going to be definitely looking at him to get him in, because he was excellent. Yes, it'd be a long-term ACL injury or whatever the type of knee injury was. But yeah, I think that he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him, assuming he comes back from the injury. But he has youth on his side, so he should be fine. At least that's the hope. But yeah, Leicester will have to cope without him. They do have players that can fill that role. Maybe not necessarily in the next couple of weeks, but they should be able to manage. And I think they should be okay. As long as they have their front guys firing, then their defense can probably hold out somewhat. So yeah. I have 6 doubles now that DCL's out. How many would I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 because I'm not going to play DCL, but I plan on swapping out one of my defenders for another double game week defender and bringing in another double game week player in midfield. But we'll take a look at that in a bit. So these are the tables. Let me make these a little bit on, make this a little bit on the smaller side, if I can. So these are the fixtures that we only really need to worry about in 26 here. So these are the two different alterations. Let me actually make it. Can I make it a little bit bigger? Yeah, there we go. So these are the two alternate tables. I'm just showing you this piece here because you know, this is the most important part. Hi Pilot, how's it going, Jankster? Are you going with Pope Captain? I'm considering it. It'd be super nerve-wracking with the moves I'll be doing, and we'll be able to see that later on in the stream, which moves I'm actually doing, and you'll understand why Pope Captain would be a bit nuts. Also potentially could do Pope Triple Captain, but I think I'll save that for a later date. Just doesn't feel right to triple captain a goalkeeper. Doesn't feel right to captain a goalkeeper, but it makes sense stats-wise. But so the different alterations. So this is the most likely scenario. So in this scenario, scenario A and scenario C, the difference, as you can see here, is the fixture change for Spurs, who they play. So in the first scenario, they play Southampton, and Southampton play Everton and Spurs. Whereas in the other scenario, Spurs play Fulham. And Southampton only get a single game week. So either Fulham's going to get a double game week, or Southampton's going to get a double game week. One of the two in 26. And it'd be much nicer if Southampton do, because they would have 3 doubles in a row. So it'd be very easy to just get in Southampton players and just run them through, even up until 28, because they have Sheffield United, Man City in 27, and then Brighton at home, which could be quite good for them as well. So I'm hoping for this. There are 2 other scenarios that are kind of the same as these two, and the only difference is that Brighton and Sheffield United get an additional fixture each for them. They would basically, I think they would play each other or something like that. That's the other scenario that's possible, and that's possible for both scenario A and scenario B, which are the other 2 scenarios, B and D, on Ben Crellin's list, which is where this table comes from. But obviously the main fixtures to look at is that City will play West Ham and Wolves at home, 2 very good fixtures for them. Everton will have a double. Burnley will have a double, although not great. Either Southampton or Fulham will have a double, and that depends on who plays Spurs, basically. Villa will have a double as well. Spurs will have a double, obviously. United, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Wolves will all have the same doubles, no matter what. So, yeah, should be quite nice. I think in this double, Triple City is going to be mandatory, almost certainly. Double Aston Villa, at least, I would say. At least two attacking players, and or 2 outfield players, and Emi Martinez. United, you're probably looking at Bruno and maybe a defender, maybe 2 defenders, depends. Liverpool, again, Sheffield United away, Chelsea at home, could be a bit tough for them. Sheffield United away could be a problem. I'm not personally looking at any Liverpool players for 26 until they show me something. Yeah. Chelsea, Man United at home, Liverpool away. Again, 2 not great fixtures unless they show me something again. Not really looking at that. Wolves could potentially, if they start to pick up their form a little bit, or again show me something. Maybe a defender's on the cards. I had one in one of my kind of drafts for this scenario, where I don't have Southampton to pick from, which is a little bit tougher. That week looked good for me. Have so many doubles already. Same, I have 12. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do. So with my current team, um, which is this, the players that I would have doubles for. So Pope would have a double, me would have a double, Cancelo would, Diaz would, Stones would, Salah would, Fernandez would, DCL would, Barnes would, Son would, Martinez would. So the only three that wouldn't have a double, or the four that wouldn't have a double would be Souček, Antonio, Bamford, and Sufal. The problem is that the players that I want to get for the double that I don't have are very difficult to get without wildcarding or spending a lot of transfers, which I don't have a lot. I only have one free available. So, and those players are like the likes of Jack Grealish for Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, Harry Kane, Danny Ings, these sorts of players, maybe even Jamie Vardy. These sorts of players are very difficult for me to get unless I change things around. So, yeah, could be. It's definitely going to be wildcard territory for me. I'm going to transfer Antonio out next week for Adams. I wouldn't necessarily say Adams is the best pick because Adams might be a rotation risk now. I don't believe he was in the squad at all for their FA Cup fixture, so it could be interesting on that front. So I would say monitor that. I would say wait and see what Southampton do this week, and then go from there because they do have some players coming back. So he may be the one that makes way, and Ings may have a new strike partner. So we'll see. I would say if you don't have Watkins, maybe go for him. Obviously, if you don't have Bamford, then obviously Bamford. So yeah. Morning, I had Gundogan since you paid 5.5 for him. You got in early. Is he the best captaincy choice? Notice you have Pope captain. I think Gundogan and Sterling. So the ranking for me is Gundogan or Sterling. It was DCL, but now Pope has kind of moved above that now. And then Bruno probably in the captaincy choice. So I think if you have Gundogan and Sterling, you have a bit of a headache potentially to pick. But I think all three are going to do well this week. I don't think there's going to be a situation where Pope, Gundogan, and Sterling don't score 10 points. So I think they're all good shouts. I do have the captaincy on Pope, and I may change that, but we will see. Stones, Cancelo, me, Alonso, Salah, Bruno, Sterling, captain, Watkins, Antonio, Bamford. Doesn't feel right to have Souček and Rafinha on the bench. Me personally, I would play Souček over Alonso. Because we've seen that Alonso could potentially be a substitution risk. So Alonso's not necessarily a defender that's going to stay on the bench the whole game. He may start Ben Chilwell, and he may bring on Alonso at 50 minutes, 60 minutes, something like that, in which case he's not as good. Whereas Souček is going to play, or Souček, I think is how it's pronounced, is going to play the whole game. That's what I would go. It kind of sucks that you'll have, Rafinha, who has, ideally a good fixture versus Arsenal, and Alonso, who has Newcastle on the bench. But again, benching headaches are going to happen. Yeah, I have Watkins and Bamford too. Yeah, so maybe if you can find the funds for Ings, maybe could be something. But again, it is a bit tricky. I would say monitor it for Adams. I wouldn't jump on him right away. I'm thinking of wildcarding next round. Oh, hi, how's it going? Thinking wildcarding next round. Hard to make a midfield. Sterling, Gundogan, Rafinha, Bruno, Grealish, and Son. Well, let's take a look at that actually. So, based on the two tables that we showed you, so the one where Southampton doubles in 3 games in a row, and then the one where Fulham doubles instead, and Southampton has a single game week in 26. I have 2 different scenarios that I'm kind of looking at. So in the Southampton version, I would not have Pope. I don't have Ben Mee. I don't have Stones. I don't have Sufal. I don't have Barnes. I don't have Salah. I don't have Souček. I don't have Antonio, and I don't have DCL. So you can see that I would be, on a wild card, would be taking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. So I'd be swapping out 2/3 of the team. So it is a good wild card, very good wild card. I like Schmeichel as a goalkeeper. I think his double could be good versus Arsenal and Burnley. Um, Obviously, down the back, Shaw would be a very good double game week candidate for me personally. Um, if it's Southampton that is to double, triple Southampton is what I'm going to be going with. So it'd be Vestergaard, it'd be Walker Peters, and it would be Danny Ings, no problem. To fill the other forward slot, we would go with Harry Kane. In midfield as well, we would have Rafinha as well. We would have Grealish, and then I'm spacing out on the last player that I had picked out. I can't remember who I decided to choose. I must be missing somebody. Ings is so expensive. Well, he can easily be. That's who it was. I'm forgetting the most obvious one of them all, Gundogan. I was like, I know there's a 6 million midfielder in here somewhere. Can I trust Stones as a defender? You can trust him when he starts. The problem is will he start when Champions League and stuff rolls around? I think Diaz is only really the one that you can kind of trust to start week in, week out once Europe rolls around. I think you could probably get away with Stones for the time being now, though. But Diaz is the only one. Diaz and Ederson are the only two where I can say, you know what, they're going to play literally every game. So Stones is amazing, but again, Pep might use him for Europe instead. So yeah, that would be the team, and then basically what we would do is we would just take out Bamford, and go for Watkins, and then run that back, run that team there. I'm still trying to think of a midfielder potentially that isn't Rafinha. Obviously, in the case of Fulham, it could be Lookman for a double, but I think Rafinha is fine too. So, yeah, and I'd have 5.6 million to kind of play around. So if I look at just the midfielders quickly, 5.6. So the Soucek, there's Harrison, Saka, Click, Rafinha, Pereira. I mean, if Pereira gets a double for West Brom, mind you, he might be dropped. Maybe I go for Jorginho, just somebody who's going to play 2 games and might get a penalty against either Liverpool or United. Maybe. Can't pick McGinn because I will have 3 Villa players. Can't pick Armstrong. I think if I change some of the price points around somewhere, I could get in like Ruben Neves, who would have a double as well versus Newcastle and City, and that could be a bit of a differential pick too. So it would basically be like I wouldn't have Schmeichel, I would have somebody else. So I would go for, let's say, I'll just pick Guaita just for argument's sake. And then I could go for not Ruben Neves, Neto. And I could play Neto because he's probably going to play both games anyway. That would be something you can go for. I'm thinking to wildcarding next round. Hard to make a midfield. Well, the midfield is pretty straightforward. It's assuming Gundogan keeps his form. Gundogan, Son, Fernandes, Grealish. I mean, Gundogan was still scoring when KDB was in the team. If anything, when KDB comes back, it makes Gundogan even more of an option because of how good he was. So, like, if you look at when Gundogan started scoring, it was this run here, game week 13 onwards. When did KDB leave the team? KDB didn't leave until after game week 19. So, if anything, Gundogan's more of an option when KDB is in the team, because there's less option for Gundogan to create, but more option for him to get even more in the box. I have him and Diaz, but can't afford Diaz on the wild card. Yeah, Diaz is they're getting pretty expensive now. Still less than the Liverpool defenders, him and Cancelo, but yeah. Loving the setup that I'm creating for this team. Yeah, this setup looks pretty good. Are you trying to get KDB back? No, I don't think so. I think Gundogan long term is probably good, which is why I could potentially go for Sterling this week, just because I think on a one-off double game week, Sterling could be, really good against two teams that he's definitely going to play against or should play against. And then get Gundogan long term. Pope Stones, Cancelo, me, Gundogan captain, Bruno, Rashford, Soucek, Rafinha, Antonio, Bamford, bench, Sufal, Dallas, or DCL. Any more transfers? Nope. I think that team is perfectly fine. And good morning, Mono. I was thinking of this on my wild card. Martinez, Forster, Strauch, Kilman, Stones, White, Kyle Walker, Peters, Grealish, Rafinha, Son, Sterling, Fernandez, Kane, Bamford, and Watkins, selling Rafinha and Gundogan in 26. Depends on if you're bench boosting or not. Yeah, it depends on if you're bench boosting. If you're not bench boosting, then it should be fine. Would you have a 25 wildcard be a bad idea, as you'd have to maybe have 3 leads and a few Saints to ship out for the bench boost in 26? Well, that's why I'm hoping that Saints play a double. So there's 2 different scenarios, one of which is where Southampton doubles against Everton and Spurs. The other one is where Fulham doubles, and this is the more likely of the 2, Southampton doubling, which I hope that's the case, but we don't know that as of yet. So if that's the case, then obviously we can go with this team. If Saints don't double, then basically what would happen is, I wouldn't get Ings, I wouldn't have Vestergaard, I wouldn't have Walker Peters. I can get them afterwards. I would have Bamford. Neto would be Lookman, because he would double. I would have potentially a Wolves defender. I wouldn't have Guaita. I would have Areola. And then there was another, and then I would just need a defender at 4 or 5. So I'll just pick Lowton for an example. And then from there, if we get a little bit extra cash, just a little bit extra cash, like an extra 0.2 somewhere, whether it be downgrading Cody or whatever, we can get Vardy if price changes. You can get Vardy for Bamford, and then again you can have 15 double game week players for that as well. Those are the different scenarios. Kane triple captain. Okay, yeah, that team looks good then. When are these doubles gonna be official? Apparently, according to Ben Krellin, who's the guy who makes these two tables here. Well, he's made 4. He's made a lot of the tables, but they're supposedly going to be announced sometime this week coming, hopefully. And he says that it's very likely that they should be announced before Gameweek 25 deadline, which would be very helpful. Which is why I'm not going to activate my wildcard until as late as possible, or until at least they're announced. I've had Cancelo since game week 1. You're a good man. I agree, because Gundogan doesn't play in KDB's position. He plays in David Silva's position. Exactly. Do you plan to go with max doubles for 25? Yes, or at least 14, because I'm bench boosting. I don't mind a single game week player, but like Rafinha or something like that. But yeah. Can City get a double game week in 26 and 27? Yes, actually. there is a very good chance that they probably will. Um, but their better double game week will be in West Ham, Wolves in 26, and then they'll play Man United, Southampton in 27. Apparently that's going to be the scenario. Sounds like you're going to free hit in game week 29. Yes, that's correct. That was what was intended. Do I have a massive delay today? No, I just scrolled up in the chat. I just scrolled up in the chat to look at the other ones, the other comments that I missed out. Can't be missing out all the important stuff that you guys are saying in the chat. You bench boost in 26? Yes, that is the plan. How long will you go without Salah? Until Liverpool show me something. I mean, if we look at Liverpool's fixtures, Leeds away is not going to be easy. Everton at home, not going to be easy. Sheffield United. I mean, Sheffield United are fighting to stay out of the bottom three, so they might be difficult. And with if I just reset this, the last time they played Sheffield United, they only barely won 2-1. Chelsea's going to be a tough ask. Fulham have been looking better. Wolves may be better defensively by 28. And then they blanket 29. So again, not the most convincing fixtures overall. I'll have to see something from Liverpool to show me something at least. No worries, Zodiac. Mane has highest XGI. Yeah, but the problem is that Mane makes very poor decisions, and he's a frustrating player to watch. So, plus I'm a United fan, so how am I supposed to back Liverpool? Plus I think Salah is my most captain player this season, and he's blanked like half the times I've captained him anyway. So, which is most of my blanks, to be honest. I've only blanked the captain 6 times this season. I think it's once on Son, once on KDB, and like 3 or 4 times on Salah, and then 1 on Antonio. Thinking of selling Sterling or Salah in game week 28 or 30? Yeah, I mean, you can. Just see which one's better in form. I think obviously Salah's less likely to rotation, but yeah. Will DCL play against Fulham? Probably not, according to Carlo Ancelotti. It seems very unlikely that he's going to play versus Fulham. Yeah. Really want to wildcard next game week. We're not sure if it's smart. Well, if we get the doubles beforehand, then yeah, it should be okay. Mane gonna explode soon. He starts. Is actually good, and it's been a while. The stats remind me of Cancelo. We waited for him to explode. Yeah, I mean that's true as well. Anyone else wildcard in game week 30? A lot of people could. If you don't have your free hit, I think if you have your bench boost, still available. So if you have bench boost, wildcard, triple captain, you could probably get away with bench boosting just one of these weeks and have transfers to set that up, whether it be 24, 25, or 26. Basically, just whenever you look at your bench and say, who would I bench this week? Do I have a bunch of good fixtures on it? Yeah, sure. Then you can bench boost. 26, you could just make sure you have some double game week players in there. Then you can dead end your team basically into 29 where there's going to be the blank, and then you just wildcard in 30. That's if you don't have the free hit chip. Any plans on how you will ship out so many single game weekers from 25 to 26 if you're going to bench boost? Well, I would basically wildcard in such a way in 25 where I know that I have double game week players in basically every position. And if we actually go back and look at so if I do I'm just going to quickly redo the team that I had. So Ings, I'm just going under the assumption that it's the Southampton one, which is the most likely, the Southampton double. Neto, Grealish, Gundogan, Shaw, Vestergaard, Walker Peters, um, no, Rafinha. I'll just go Rafinha. Schmeichel. Let's say that's my team there, right? If you're looking at on the bench, right? Okay, yeah, we have 2 expensive goalkeepers. Well, that's one transfer away to get rid of him. Then we have Vestergaard, who's 4'7", Walker Peters, who's 4'7", Rafinha, who's 5'3". On my bench week in, week out. That's not a lot of money when you expend the goalkeeper. You know, it's quite a easy amount of money to kind of maintain on your bench week in, week out. And Shaw might not necessarily be a long-term option. He may just be a good double gaming player and then off he goes, because he still technically has that rotation risk with the likes of Alex Telles. Mane is actually a better player than Salah. I would say Salah's a better player than Mane in terms of FPL. In terms of real life, Mane is probably the better player in terms of technically. The problem is that Mane's decision making is usually terrible. At least that's what I've seen when I watch Liverpool. I hope I return to the top 100k this week. That's the plan. Gotta get past it and then get into that top 10k. Aston Villa is not a bad game for keeping Bamford. Yeah, I mean, it's probably perfectly fine too. But I'd probably rather have, if I'm choosing Watkins versus Bamford and Watkins as an extra fixture, I'm probably taking Watkins. My plan is to wildcard in 25, triple captain in 26. I want to have 3 Villa players, 2 Spurs players, and bench 3 Leeds players in 26. Yep, that's going to be what a lot of people are going to be doing too. And then they're going to keep their Leeds players up until 29. For when there's a blank in 29. I'm stuck on whether to wildcard in 25 or 30. I have no free hit. I would say depending on if you have a bench boost or not would determine that. If there's a situation where in the next couple of weeks you can bench boost comfortably in 24 and 25, then I would say look to bench boost before that. Otherwise, I would say if you can't do that, then obviously then you could potentially wildcard and then bench boost, and then just work your transfers around and just go light in 29. Salah's the better FPL player because of penalties, and Mane might be better. I love both, and of course I'm a Liverpool fan. Yeah, both players are very good. I think there's a very likely chance that Liverpool this summer coming, depending on if they finish in the top 4 or not, which, they're obviously in the top 4 currently, but obviously a lot of things can change. I mean, United might not necessarily stay in the top 4. City could have a meltdown. We don't know, right? The season's crazy enough. If they stay in the top 4, which I think Liverpool probably will do, they'll probably get it together. They're going to sell one of those 2 players is going to leave. I think the likelihood is it's going to be Mane. And I think he'll probably, if the rumors are true, him and Gini Wijnaldum are looking as an exit move to Barcelona. So then they might go heavy in on like an Mbappe or somebody like that. So we will see. Which would be scary to think about. So, or maybe they get somebody who's like a 50-60 million pound player, and then they use Jota and him to rotate. I'm starting Soufal, Diaz, and Antonio over Souček. Seems a bit risky. I would play Souček over Soufal, to be honest. He's going to want to redeem himself. This week, would you play Soufal or Mings? Probably Mings. Just because I think that Sheffield United, I have a funny feeling that they're going to score. I don't know why, but I think they're going to score. I find the Mbappe rumors very unserious, and Mbappe, uh, but I would love that. Yeah, I mean he's a Nike person, Nike guy. So yeah. What changes am I gonna do this week? Great question. Let's get on to that. So I am going to just kind of quickly look at the goals imminent table. So if you haven't checked this out, this is over on the Fantasy Football Scout members area. So this is basically a place where you can create tables and get stats that are powered by OptaStats for Fantasy Football Scout. I think it's £20 for the whole year, and you get access to all this sorts of cool stuff and other people's tables as well. And yeah, you should go check it out. But on the goals imminent table, Antonio, De Bruyne, Madison, Mane, just mentioned him, Hakim Ziyech, Shelby, and Harvey Barnes, who's probably going to be on my bench this week, unfortunately. But yeah. I think Liverpool will sell Salah or Mane this year or next year. It's probably in the plan, yes. Do I think Sterling will start both fixtures? I think he has to start both fixtures because when he plays, when City play the big team, Sterling starts. What stats are that? This is the goals imminent table. So this is sorted by expected goals for players that should have scored when they haven't. So Antonio's at the top of that list currently. So in the last 4 matches, he's had 3 big chances and missed all 3 of them, and has not scored. So Antonio's definitely due a goal. For the season ticker, attacking wise, Burnley is at the top, obviously having the double. Newcastle, Spurs, West Brom, Leicester being at the bottom. This is the season ticker, so this is another thing that you can get in the members area. And for defense, obviously Burnley's still up there, and we're just looking at these 2 game weeks just because of the double game week, things could potentially change. So Antonio is a beast. I would love to see him at Liverpool. I think he's going on 31, and also his hamstrings are like breadsticks, I think is the term. So I sold Justin and Wilson for Cavani and me. I think that's a very good shout for this game week. This is the so-called whipping boys table. So it is quite a big table. And basically what that means is that basically these are the teams that concede the most. So this is sorted by XG conceded. So as you can see in the bottom 5, West Brom, Burnley, Spurs, Crystal Palace, and Southampton. In terms of goal attempts conceded inside the box, because that's something that's quite important. Bottom 5, Everton, West Brom, Burnley, Spurs, and Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace is still top of those. All of those tables where you see like all the big boys down the bottom. Overall, big chances conceded as well. Southampton, obviously, the United game has inflated that a little bit, but again, Crystal Palace, West Brom, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Fulham's not far off there as well. XGI and attacking output. So this is my little like captain's table, as it were. I've sorted it by expected goal involvement. So as you can see at the top is over the last 4 matches is Gundogan. 3.80 with Sterling at 3.54. Both of them had 4 big chances. Gundogan has actually created 2 big chances where Sterling has only created 1, and Gundogan has actually created 9 chances and Sterling has created 7. Although that hasn't translated to Gundogan's assists, because he's only had 1 this season, where Sterling is 1 less goal but 5 more assists. We can see that Sterling shots inside the box, 10 shots inside the box, 5 on target. So Sterling is definitely getting more shots off in the box. Fernandes not too far behind him, and the Rashford stats are way down below there overall. So just a little quick look there. Let's see what the chat's saying. 31 is not that bad. He started late like Vardy. Yeah, exactly. And I do agree with Zodiac. I think I always made some very good transfers. Is James Rodriguez a good choice as captain? No, because there's a chance he might not play both games. Hoping to get back into the top 10k and stay around 4 to 6k, yeah, and then look to potentially push on at the very end of the season to make a surge for the top 1k. That'd be very good. That'd be a very good finish indeed. So yeah, transfers this week. So some things to kind of look over the team. So Diaz should be fine. He was back in training. He's definitely going to play probably both games unless he gets injured, obviously. Antonio, I think he should be fit to start this week, and there's going to be, if there's no, I'm not going to play him after this week anyway. I'm going to get rid of him because their fixtures turned drastically. You know, it's a sea of red, and then maybe get him back for the end of the season, assuming he's fit. Gonna start Bamford. Calvert-Lewin will drop to the bench with the transfers that we're gonna be making. And unfortunately, I have to bench Son this week. It doesn't feel good to bench him, but at least I can back City in that game from an FPL point of view. If Spurs do win the game, like 2-1 or something, I'll just hope that Diaz got a goal with a Sterling assist or something like that. So we will see. Will you swap out a City defender in the near future? We're going to be swapping out a City defender right now. So, yeah. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to get rid of John Stones because I think Diaz is more likely to play both games because he was back in training. It was only like a minor illness, but he is back in training. So he should be fine. The defender that I'm considering, you still got 2 transfers for 24? No, I only have 1 transfer. So this would be for a hit, but I still think it's worth it because when you take a hit for somebody who's a double game week player, it's effectively not a -4, it's a -2. So the defender that we would bring in would be Tarkowski, who I know is going to play 2 games. I can also get Digne as well, but I like Burnley over Everton with the fact that Calvert-Lewin could be out for the first game. Triple Burnley, I mean, it is the title of the stream. Gotta back it. And then Salah would make way for Sterling. Those are the transfers that I'm looking at. Wildcard in 25? Not necessarily, because remember, Burnley, in terms of double gaming players, who would I have for the double game week? I would have both my goalkeepers would double, 4 of my defenders would double, 4 of my midfielders would double, and 2 of my forwards would double. So the only players that wouldn't double would be the West Ham players, which I can do 1 transfer to get rid of Antonio, 1 transfer to get rid of Souček, 1 transfer to get rid of Kufal, so it's only actually a -4. So I can do 1 transfer to bring Souček out for Rafinha, who I'd be happy to play on a bench boost in 26. And then get Watkins in, Watkins in for Antonio, and then some other defender for a hit, and go from there. But yeah, most likely this is going to be a wildcarded team. So yeah, I like Sterling over Gundogan personally. I think Gundogan is probably going to be just as good. No Dallas or Rafinha. If I were to wildcard, maybe Rafinha's on that, but no, I don't see. I as much as I would want Dallas, that's the kind of the thing I have to the pros and cons of that. So I have to hope that Saints get their act together. So this is my third full season, first season where I'm invested in taking it seriously. I usually have taken -20 many rounds for fun. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna make that transfer. Confirm transfers. Now the question is who to play. So Barnes I'm definitely not playing. It's a decision between Sufal and Son. Start Barnes, I have a feeling. And then maybe I can root against Liverpool. But again, it's the early kickoff. I don't want to expect anything from the early kickoff. I think maybe I play Son in the event that he does something stupid. Like something insane. So I think I'll put Son in, Calvert-Lewin, and then maybe I go with that. Because I think there's every chance that Son scores a counterattack goal or something like that. Son does have a decent record against Man City. Maybe he does. I mean, he scored versus them last time, I believe. Captain Sterling. Yeah, I think so. I have 3 players in the early kickoff. I think 3-2. I don't know. I don't know personally. I was pissed when Southampton Leeds got moved and ruined my bench boost. Yeah, it ruined mine too. That's why I held up on it. Vardy's back as well. Yeah, I mean, that could definitely help out. Maybe Harvey Barnes in there. But I think just, like, who do I play? Do I play Son or do I play Barnes? Like, I think definitely Son, and it's just a case of do I play Sufao or do I play Son? So yeah. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna reorganize this really quickly. So that's gonna go there. He's gonna go there. He's gonna go there. Son out for Barnes, out for Souček, for Barnes, Calvert-Lewin, in for him, and for him. Bam. Gotta get that color coordination. That's why. Gotta get the color coordination. That's why. I don't know. Something about the color coordination makes the team look better. I don't know. That's I always try to keep the team with the same players, like in the same section or in their proper position. So if I'm actually going to do it properly, then Cancelo should be playing at right back, and Diaz at center back, like that. And I always like to keep my captain in the center of the screen as well. If I wanted to, I could also move Son out to the left wing too. So yeah, maybe I do that. So we'll do that, that. Barnes for Son for Souček for Barnes, Bamford for DCL, swap Fernandez, Sterling, make captain. There we go. Now we got some people in position here. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Triple captain Sterling. Nah, I don't see it this week. Triple captain Kane if Spurs get a good double. Yeah, they could get a good double later on. But yeah, we have less than 2 minutes. Well, it's almost 1 minute now. So, I think Sterling is probably, like I said, the city captain. It makes the most sense since I have triple Burnley. I don't think captaining Pope is, smart. I would say. So I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this really quickly, just so I have it, because I always forget to do it. So I can have that to post after the stream. Mane considered to invest in a lower league French club? Maybe. I thought I captained Pope. Well, I had triple. I can't go quadruple Burnley. That'd be insane. Having triple Burnley is bad enough. But yeah, 20 seconds left on the or 15 seconds till the deadline. Am I gonna watch the Burnley game? I watch every game. Or at least I try to watch every game. But yeah, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that should be the deadline. I refresh my team just in case to see. So the game should break in a second. Should break, unless they're giving us an extra few minutes. There we go. So yeah, that is it. Wildcard next round. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a lot of fun next couple of rounds. But like I said, I have all the chips, so it just makes the most sense for me to wildcard into bench boost. I won't have that much money invested on the bench, as we saw. We would only need to make one transfer later on to get a goalkeeper. Can you bench boost and triple captain in the same round? No, you can't. You can only use one chip per round. I benched Sufal for Socek. I hope you have it right. You gotta always go for the attacker, man. He's gonna want to make up for the fact that he got sent off. So maybe he comes out with a brace or something. Who knows? Is the next deadline Friday? It is. It is Friday, I believe. It's Wolves versus Leeds, and they play at the 8 o'clock UK kickoff. Yeah, they play at the 8 o'clock UK kickoff. So we're gonna be looking to do. I think we're gonna do a preview. We'll probably do the preview stream maybe Monday or Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. And then we'll do the deadline on Thursday, which gives us a chance of potentially, if there's doubles announced on Tuesday or Wednesday, I can do a video maybe on it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Even though the game week won't be finished, at least we could still kind of take a look at how the game week's gone. But yeah, that'll be the next time when we stream. So either Monday or Tuesday, I'll definitely post about it. Probably Monday. Let's shoot for Monday, 7 p.m. EST on Monday. That'll be after the two games then. So yeah, and then on Thursday we'll do the deadline and we'll have some videos in between. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. Can I bench boost and triple captain in the same week? No, you cannot. You can only use one chip per week, which was nice when after the break last season. When they basically gave us a free wildcard, that was nice because you could free wildcard into a bench boost, which was pretty good. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure if you haven't done so already, go check out the video that I posted yesterday. It kind of shows some of the stuff we've gone over, as well as like the different other variations of the table that were posted by Ben Krellin. Make sure to follow him over on Twitter. Check him out. And yeah. We'll be back Monday for the Game Week 25 preview stream. I'll be on a wild card potentially by then, but we will see. And make sure to follow all the socials, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.